Hey Los Blancos fans, welcome back to Real Madrid News, your #1 source for everything happening with the greatest club in the world. Today we've got some major stories to cover, including that shocking Champions League performance against Arsenal, reactions from our stars, and what's next for Los Blancos. If you're a true Madridista, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to never miss our daily updates on your favorite team. We've got a packed show today, so let's dive right into the latest from the Santiago Bernabeu. Let's address the elephant in the room, our Champions League quarterfinal first leg against Arsenal. In what can only be described as a shocking display, Real Madrid suffered a devastating 3-0 defeat at the Emirates Stadium, putting our Champions League campaign in serious jeopardy. The match was relatively even for the first hour, but two spectacular free kicks from England midfielder Declan Rice completely changed the game. The first, a beautifully struck effort that left Thibaut Courtois with no chance, and the second, another masterclass in set-piece execution. Mikel Merino added a third, making our task in the second leg monumentally difficult. Carlo Ancelotti was notably direct in his post-match assessment, stating, "The result means that Arsenal were much better than us. For 60 minutes, the game was even, and then they scored two fantastic free kicks. The game changes. The reaction mentally made us fall. We had a problem in the last 30 minutes of the game." To make matters worse, Eduardo Camavinga lost his composure in the final moments, receiving a second yellow card for kicking the ball away in frustration. The midfielder was already set to miss the return leg due to an accumulation of yellow cards, but his lack of discipline clearly infuriated Ancelotti, who couldn't even look at the player as he left the pitch. This 3-0 deficit presents a historical challenge for Los Blancos. It's a scoreline we have never managed to overturn in Champions League history. However, if there's one club that specializes in European comebacks, it's Real Madrid. Despite the disappointing result, our stars are not throwing in the towel just yet. Kylian Mbappé, who had a relatively quiet game by his standards, took to Instagram with a clear 7-word message: "Hay que creer hasta el final." You have to believe until the end. The French superstar, who has already netted an impressive 32 goals this season in what has been a standout debut campaign, will be desperate to make his mark in the return leg at the Bernabeu. Jude Bellingham, who received mixed reviews from the Spanish press following the match, also remains optimistic about an unlikely comeback. Speaking to Amazon Prime, he admitted, "We were nowhere near it. That's the fact, and Arsenal were really good. I know 2 of their goals were free kicks, but they could have had way more. There is a second leg, and that's what we're holding on to. We need something really special, something crazy really, but one place where crazy things happen is our house." Lucas Vázquez echoed these sentiments, saying, "It's complicated, of course, but if there's a team in the world that can turn this around, it's us, in our stadium, with our fans. It's going to be a different game than this one, and together we'll pull it out." The Spanish press, known for their brutal honesty, didn't hold back after Tuesday's defeat, though interestingly Jude Bellingham escaped the harshest criticism despite a subdued performance. As praised his work ethic, writing, "A hard worker, a real fighter, pure Bellingham. He never skimped on a run, a tackle, or an assist. He moved much more into midfield to help out, but, as a result, he was less visible in the opposition's box. It wasn't his most memorable night, but he was one of the best of the 4 players in front." Marca gave the midfielder a 5/10 rating, but acknowledged that the little Madrid did do came from his boots, but it was drowned out by the disaster that was the team. They also highlighted how defensive issues from Alaba forced Bellingham to work harder than necessary in defensive areas. Mundo Deportivo labeled Bellingham as the sacrifice in Real Madrid's loss, noting that the Englishman worked more in defense than in attack, and the forwards noticed this. The general consensus seems to be that while Bellingham wasn't at his brilliant best, he was far from Madrid's biggest problem on the night, with systemic defensive issues and a general lack of intensity being the primary concerns. Before the crucial second leg at the Bernabeu, Real Madrid must first focus on La Liga, where they're currently trailing Barcelona by 4 points. This Sunday, Los Blancos face Alaves in a must-win league match to keep their domestic title hopes alive. This gives Ancelotti and his squad a chance to regain some confidence before attempting what would be one of the greatest comebacks in Champions League history next week. The Italian tactician will need to address several key issues from the first leg. The team's mental collapse after conceding the first goal. Defensive vulnerabilities that were repeatedly exposed by Arsenal 3. Getting more attacking support to Mbappé, who was often isolated 4. Finding a way to unleash Bellingham further forward where he can impact the game offensively. There are also questions about potential lineup changes for the return leg. With Camavinga suspended, Ancelotti will need to reshuffle his midfield. Additionally, after the defensive problems exposed at the Emirates, will we see adjustments to the backline? One thing is certain. The Bernabeu will be at its intimidating best for the second leg, with 80,000 Madridistas creating the kind of atmosphere that has inspired countless European comebacks over the years. Looking at this situation objectively, Real Madrid finds themselves in an extremely difficult position. Historically, teams trailing 3-0 after the first leg of a Champions League knockout tie have advanced less than 1% of the time. However, if there's one club in world football capable of defying those odds, it's Real Madrid. The combination of the Bernabeu factor, individual brilliance from players like Mbappé, Bellingham, and Vinicius Jr., and Carlo Ancelotti's experience makes an unlikely comeback at least possible. For this to happen, Madrid will need to score early to build momentum and belief. They must also avoid conceding, as an Arsenal away goal would require Los Blancos to score 5. The first 30 minutes of the return leg will be crucial. If Madrid can get an early goal, the famous Bernabeu magic might just take over. Arsenal, despite their commanding position, will be wary. Their manager, Mikel Arteta, knows the Real Madrid DNA all too well, and as Declan Rice warned after the match, even if we're 3-0 up, the individual quality they have is scary. At the Bernabeu, special things happen for them. That wraps up today's Real Madrid news update. From the Champions League setback against Arsenal to our stars' rallying cries and the upcoming crucial fixtures, it's clear that this is a defining moment in our season. Will Los Blancos pull off another historic European comeback, or will this be the end of our Champions League journey? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to check back tomorrow for more exclusive updates on your favorite club. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe for daily Real Madrid content. That's all for today. Please leave your comments below and hit the like button. Thank you for watching.